In the bottom right side, we have a blue Zerg player. Let me switch this around. He is from Team NV. It is DRG, the Dongrai Gu. And of course, there is a very special Finnish player right here. We all know who he is. We all know what he does. He is one of the very best, of course. It's the Red Zerg and Serral. The man that broke the Korean winning streak in the game of StarCraft. Shut down the entire just domination of the Korean scene. Suddenly became top dog after eons, decades, millennia of just Koreans being much better at StarCraft than anyone else. Let me put my bag of sweets away here, actually. Alright, so far it looks like we are having things be relatively easy. Easy going so far, right? Hatcheries first, then the spawning pools. Not that bad, not that bad. I always love seeing the Korean Zergs versus the whatchamacallit Zergs, the foreign Zergs, right? We still can call them the foreign Zergs, I would say. It's still all very acceptable. Overlords running into those natural bases right now. As I'm quickly trying to figure out why some hotkeys stopped working as well. Alright, we'll have to figure that out later on down the line. It's fine, it's fine. First Zerglings coming in as the third base drone for DRG is already on location. Serral in the lower bracket. It is quite something, right? Serral being in the lower bracket, it is something we've been seeing a bit more recently. It's very, very difficult to say whether it is because everyone else is just getting much better or if Serral is losing his spark, losing his edge. It's hard to say, right? It's almost impossible to say. Like this drone here blocking the entryway, that's kind of nice. Keeping the Zerglings away from being able to just get a good clean scout going. As Serral is still on 2 bases, right? So that might give DRG the heebie-jeebies a little bit. As we will have the lair actually coming up as well. So the lair here will be a big part of the play for Serral, I imagine. Coming in together with a Roach Warren so far, so might be looking for some sort of a night display perhaps of all the Roach speed. We'll have to see. That's a lot of gas that he's taking with the Roach Warren though. All full gas off of the 2 base are being taken, so who knows? Maybe the Roach Warren there just as a diversion, and he could be going into a Spire as well. Let's just wait and see what the building syntax are. On the other side, DRG, you know what, only on the 3, going up to 3 gas with the 3 base here. Looking to have a bit more minerals, of course, to get his drone line up and running on 3 bases as quickly as possible. Still having these Zerglings in the front is very crucial. Needs to ensure that nothing incredibly crazy is just suddenly coming at him. And well, to be fair, I mean, he still knows that there's no 3rd base. He can see some roaches being made right now. You can see the Evo chamber and the Roach Warren kind of wiggling about, right? So, I mean, is there anything else that he needs to know at this point in time? I don't think so. Maybe just the sheer quantity of roaches. That would be kind of nice to be able to see. But you know what? He gets into the main base, so sees that pretty much every single roach that has been created already. Might be able to see some more hatch as well, so now he knows he doesn't have to skimp out on the defense. He can kind of be quite excessive with the amount of roaches that he's getting here, in order to just squash whatever Serral's throwing at him. And they're being in a really good spot because he has had that third base for so much longer. He's already mining from it. Worker count still very similar. And remember, we do have an upgrade advantage here that is quite severe for Serral. It's not just that +1, because we do have the +1 armor now available for DRG as well. I kind of like that, actually. Helps out with the Lings here in particular when you're fighting the Roaches. But we have that Roach speed upgrade, of course, here being available. Now, we don't have a Zergling speed upgrade for Serral, so there's no Zerglings being able to reinforce this fight very quickly. That could be the downside of this. Ooh, a Queen with full energy immediately picks off that secondary Queen with energy as well. It's not a great start. The Biles, DRG doesn't care anymore. It's a run by of Zerglings into the main base. That is being dealt with, but so far this is looking kind of jumbled up for Serral so far. Let's see on the production tab. You know what? He is winning this fight so far. He is now 20 army supplies stronger than his opponent. And there is a lot of Zerglings being made by DRG now instead of more Roaches. Bit more of the quick, cheap and dirty units. Might come to harm him because now with the quality of these Roaches, it might just be a bit better of an army for Serral. Not just in supply, but also in just what units there are. What's the hibby-jibbies? Well, you'll find out one day. You'll find out one day once you have the hibby-jibbies yourself. Looking to break this Roach attack quite quickly. Oh no, I don't think he really has the numbers. DRG still just flooding in Zerglings into this, trying to provide cover fire for his Roaches, but he's losing so much stuff right now. And there we go. GG is called. I didn't expect that game to move along that way, really. I thought this man was in a really good spot, and then it just kind of all fell apart quite quickly. In the bottom right side, the Blue Zerg, maybe anticipating less of a Roach committal for a secondary opportunity. He is a Blue Zerg from Team NV, DRG. His opponent, fighting in the red colors. He is representing the Zerg race as well, though. But he is a Finnish man, and he is here to, well, hopefully keep this train rolling. It is Serral from Team Ents, of course. Sorry, I am a big Serral fan. I am a massive DRG nerd as well, though. So, honestly, maybe just Serral a bit more just because of the mythology around him, right? The first foreigner to ever break the Korean Spacks and take a crown away from them in massive tournaments over and over again. It's like a mythological creature almost, you know? In my book. That's what it feels like. At least that's what it felt like, right? Waiting for a foreigner like that to show up. And then he did, and it's like, whoa, it happened. It actually happened. I thought it never would. It was too much of a gap, and you start, you know, just overall contemplating with all your friends. What could it be? Is there something in their DNA? What are these Koreans doing? Is it the salty seawater from the ocean that they're inhaling all the time? What's going on here? Yeah, then suddenly a Finnish man comes along and just shows everyone. It's like, yeah, you just gotta be better. Just gotta be better at the game. Now, that gave me the hibby-jibbies when I was going on. Quite a lot of hibby-jibbies. I guess we should talk about the game here as well. There's a gold base being mined over here by Mr. DRG. Serral's gonna have a quick look at it right now. And who knows? Who knows what kind of panic will ensue from this point onwards. Any mass amount of Zerglings running across the map. So far, very reasonable response. Very, how would you call this? Calm, relaxed kind of attitude from Serral. I always panic. Whenever I see, oh no, he took a gold base, I'm behind, I need to kill him right now. That's all I could think about. Serral with 300 pings, still good. That's a fair point. That's a really fair point. I mean, that's probably also the reason why he's not going for Lings and Banelings, because, like, the micro of those units is just never gonna work out for him, right? So he has to play quite smart here. Which might also be why Bjorn was such a tough opponent for him, with all the multitasking going around endlessly everywhere. Very difficult. Lab for DRG as well as Roach Warren coming in. Because Serral also starting up hatchery upgraded for the lair. I guess DRG is just playing it a little bit more careful. Getting himself the roach speed as well as the +1 attack at the same time. This time around, Serral, it's like he's reading his opponent like a book. Where's this spire being constructed, actually? Well, oh, there it is. I almost didn't see it. It was blending in with, like, the outline here quite well. Crazy. Guess you guys all saw it, though. Right? Ooh, I bet these Zerglings are gonna see it. The drone's coming off the line like, no, please, don't look at us. Never works. It's usually the case, right? When you tell somebody not to look somewhere, they'll look there. Very common thing. I wonder what Wardy is talking about. It's always on my mind. He's probably like going into like very precise calculations with like the roach numbers and like how the drone numbers here are favoriting someone and how many roaches somebody has to kill before like things are going to be overwhelmed. This seems like a fair amount of roaches to lose, actually. You probably don't want to without the Mutalisk helping out as well. Shooting down those roaches while you're losing yours. More roaches are being constructed here for Serral. He knows that he could be in a bit of trouble here if he just goes the Mutapath. He needs to have a bit of extra oomph against those armored units. But he's doing alright so far. These roaches from DRG are getting pushed backwards quite nicely. Spire for DRG has completed as well, though, and he's starting up the Mutalisk production as well. We could be seeing a Muta versus Muta battle, which I'm not quite sure if that would favor Serral. I personally think Serral was kind of hoping to be able to catch his opponent off guard with the Mutalisk. But with that Roach push right there, it kind of forced his hand, and, well, I guess the Zerglings as well, kind of spotting the Spire coming in. It was also a big giveaway. Kind of a dead giveaway. As gifted away as a giveaway could get. Now Serral transitions into Corruptus. I like that style in particular versus the Mutalisk. Always think it's a cool way to kind of go about your business here. Just gotta be careful not to overcommit on the Corruptus, of course. And then suddenly get pummeled by a big ball of roaches. That could still be quite troubling. Serral so far not really going for the extreme numbers. He's a bit supply blocked as well, though. That's to be fair. A few drones here being picked off by the Mutalisk. The little flying birds from hell. The Purgatory Zubats. That's to... You know, that's a pretty good escape, actually. Kind of fainting. Oh, the slow zone, though. The slow zone working out quite well here for Mr. DRG. It's quite a bit of extra damage right there. Cool to see, cool to see. Little mistakes like that, flying into the slow zone, it will get you. You got to keep those things in mind on maps like these. Right, how many Corruptors are we up to right now? We have 9 Corruptors versus 9 Mutalisk. 11 Corruptors, actually. It looks like Serral, this is the moment. This is what we were talking about, right? He way overcommitted onto the Corruptors right now. I think he's just going to have to send the Corruptors across the map or something. He has to find those Mutalisk. Oh boy, let's hope the Queens will be enough here to make up for the difference in roach numbers that is right now available for Mr. DRG. It's not looking all that great. Army supply, it looks kind of similar, I know, but most of this supply is in Corruptors right now, guys. So remember that. And this is, well, it's not really getting cleaned up, is it? If only if we had, like, 6 more roaches right off the bat here for Serral, things may have ended up quite differently. And now, this is a lot of workers that are going down. Serral needs to make something happen with these Corruptors. Maybe just bile down some hatchery or something anywhere. Anything, really. It's lost 6 workers. It's the amount that immediately makes you GG, but with more and more roaches just spilling across, it doesn't look like he's going to ever be able to recuperate here. And Serral just kind of making the assumption that there would just be more Mutalisk in the production tab for DRG. Trying to hide his Corruptors, trying to catch him off guard, and then, you know what, it's just roaches and ravages. It's a problem. It's a problem. You won't be able to fight that anymore. Very cool to see these two fight. It's like a little dream scenario for me, honestly. DRG versus Serral. This is like, if I get to cast ZVZ, this is probably the one I would like to cast. It's a little bit of a shame with the ping difference, right? I mean, Serral's not going to be able to do the strategies he would do otherwise. He's going to kind of have to adjust here and there and try to find ways to still make it work. But he's doing pretty good so far, right? He's definitely giving DRG a run for his money. And to be fair, that previous game he didn't lose because of micro mistakes. He lost because, well, he just made an assumption, and that assumption was wrong. And then DRG just kind of came in and slapped him. Was eating map 2 over. Yeah, what happens in map 2 was just Serral, you know, trying to over-prepare really for the Mutalisk. Just started making a lot of Corruptors. He was up to 16 Corruptors when there were only 9 Mutalisk out. And then just a bunch of roaches just came in instead of Mutalisk. And yeah, and Serral looked at the ground and realized that this is not a winning situation for him anymore. Which it wasn't. It really wasn't. So yeah, he's still trying, man. He just needed a couple more roaches in the initial battle, I would say, to stop the snowball from happening, where DRG would just be able to keep sending wave after wave after wave of roach in order to keep that momentum going into his favor. Third basis around the same period of time, a slight bit earlier for DRG. Shouldn't make too much of a difference here. Speed as well for both these players, and a baneling nest at the forefront over here, baneling nest at the forefront over there. Alright, well, looks pretty similar to me. To be fair, I personally didn't think Serral would go for circling baneling aggression or army composition in general with the ping issue here. But that is what he's gonna go for. I like how this is just an absolute, like, synchronized swimming match right now between with the two. They're just doing synchronized swimming right now, and I don't care if anyone claims differently. This is quite a spectacle to behold. Everything just mixing together, and then the units walking around the same trajectory, having the same scout at the exact same time, along the same line, and having the same units they run into on the other side. Slight difference right now, I believe, is being constructed. Let's take a look. Building's still the same. Production. No, never mind. Still pretty similar. Still pretty similar. Just a regular 3-base Zerg play. Slight bit earlier lair here for Serral. If he capitalizes on getting his upgrade going as quickly as he possibly could, maybe that will bring him a bit of success there. Yeah, that would surprise me as well, Bitterwood. Just a straight up 2-0 versus DRG. Very impressive. I always thought DRG's CVZ is really good. In particular, the Zergling Baneling kind of playstyle, because, you know, Zerglings and Banelings, that's his jam. That's what he likes to do. It's what he's practiced for eons. Millennia, century. A long darn time, really. A couple of drones went down here. It looks like maybe Banelings, Zerglings. Looks like a Baneling came in. Overseer. There's a lot of Zerglings here, but I don't think it's enough to really break anything, right? Just kind of looking to get a denial on the 4th base. The Banelings for Serral are coming in. Should be able to defend against this. Nicely done. Couple of Banelings for DRG, though. Could find 4 Banelings here of Serral. Not quite being the case. Good micro still coming out of the finish, man. More gas guys is being constructed. Serral is starting to gear up for Baneling drops. Bit unfortunate that it gets spotted within 2 meters of movement. On the other side of the map still. Not sure if the Zerglings really picked up on it, right? Those Zerglings, they may have just been running in without actually actively looking at them at that point in time. Let's see how DRG is setting up his units. Yeah, he knows. Look at this. Spreading out his roaches. He's like, alright, where are you bringing this to? Has to run the drones. Yeah, perfect. Perfect defense. Banelings don't even get some relief there. Don't get to leave anywhere. Don't get to go anywhere. Just shot down out of the balloon. Another drop coming in immediately afterwards. It's like, alright, well, let me try again. No worries, no worries. We got more overlords. We got more units to send. Let's take a bigger curvature around the map this time around, so there's less odds of him spotting this. Again, the Mutalisk transition here from DRG, actually. I didn't quite pick up on the Spire being produced, but this could be quite a nice play from him. Already on top of those Ravagers. They are expensive units. Cost quite a bit of gas. And now on top of the 4th base. Gonna be able to deny the Spore Crawler, perhaps, if those Queens don't manage to put themselves in between the Spore and the Mutalisk. And, well, it's only 12 Mutalisk. Serral trying to just defend against this with Spore Crawlers and Infestus for the time being. It's gonna lose quite a bit, it would appear. Only 2 Queens here. That is not enough, Serral. Those Spore Crawlers will finish up, though, and they should be able to do quite a bit here. Oh, a burrow upgrade with the Tunneling Claws, both being completed now for Serral. Is he going to try to utilize this here in the micro battle? Be quite crazy doing the micro battle like this now at this moment in time, but ooh, that 4th base! Transfuse! Come on, Transfuse! Keep it alive! He won't be able to. The small Mutalisk Flock endlessly attacking that base. And now things are looking a bit sour here for Serral in the economic department. About almost 20 worker difference here with a extra base added for DRG as well. DRG just making a lot of roaches for the time being. And he's going to be going up against, well, roaches, ravages. But they also have infestors here for Serral. So maybe Serral might find an opportunity here to still do a lot of counter-attack damage, right? Because he does have burrow roaches with the tunneling. They can be incredibly frustrating to deal with. Especially if you just drop them in with an overlord, of course. Here we go. There's some Mutalisk right now. Infestors could make life difficult for them. As the roaches of DRG are more gearing towards the top side. Serral just barely in the nick of time will be able to get this going. And that's a great fungal, actually. The fungal with the biles here. Looks like quite a deadly combination. Will Serral be able to hold on here? The biles not really landing where they want to. Taking a couple of biles in his own face as well. It does force these roaches backwards. Meanwhile, though, on the left side, those Mutalisk shooting away at the drones once again, making life difficult for the Finnish player. Singular Spore Crawler here. Would be nice to have that in the ground. Still on the other side with these roaches here. Being endlessly annoying. There is a Spore Crawler there. Serral won't be able to keep that going. Look at how how much effort he is putting in trying to get these roaches alive, and a consistent nuisance for his opponent, and just sends in more every time he loses a couple. He's like, all right, well, let's send 4 more overlords here. It does get picked up. DRG definitely seeming to starting to stabilize here, make things more and more secure versus this underground threat. That's kind of cute. Just a couple of roaches. Unburrow. Oh, that is funny. That is funny. And yeah, it's bringing this entire army back to that base once again. So Serral is buying himself an enormous amount of time. Managed to get himself up to 200 supply. And from here, I'd say, you know what, everything's all to play for again. Serral taking a lot of damage at some point in between, but actually looking at this right now, he has been trading a lot more efficiently, so really a great kind of couple of moves from Serral in this army composition with the Ravager Infestor Roach. Very interesting to see. Not going straight towards the Hydra and then into Lurkers. Looks like DRG is a little bit more interested into in the Lurker attack right now. Not sure if this is a fight you should be trying to take as Serral. Oh, does get a pretty good fungal. Oh, but Mutalisk on the top side there being, once again, quite a pain to deal with. The Roach is almost out healing the DPS of 5 Mutalisk here on the ground. It's taking them so long to kill. That is funny. Little Roach attack on the top side. Both players have been kind of doubling down on the defense in a way. Just don't want to throw the game right now with a needless gamble at some point in time. Slight attempts for damage still occurring, of course, throughout the map. We saw quite a couple of roaches now being kind of traded off, but it's mainly just to allow more supply for these lurkers. And oh my, Serral, where are your units? Serral, you're gonna lose the lurker then. Oh no, that's not supposed to happen. He's not supposed to lose that. Oh, that could be the end, really, for Serral in a way. What is his lurker count? Let's see. Okay, he already has 7. That's a fair amount. He might be able to stay alive with 7 lurkers here. Especially because he's only up against, where is 6. Alright. But with a lot more on the way, because, you know what? DRG does have, in fact, a lurker den. So, keep that in mind. Alright. Big attack on the bottom side. Serral here. Might be looking for another fungal. There it is. Does land quite a juicy couple of fungals here. Look at this. And he is breaking this army for DRG. DRG on the other side, though, immediately with retaliation. Those roaches looking pretty powerful still as well. Ravagers in the ground now, making it difficult for the approach for both these players. But the roaches of DRG seemingly uninterested in battling these lurkers. Will just move along to get themselves on top of all of these drones. Serral endlessly just chasing them with a couple of lurkers. Very difficult to chase units with lurkers. It's not what they're meant to do. 19 workers for Serral here going down. Serral is rebuilding some of those drones, but he's just growing in army supplies. 140 army supplies strong right now. I think he's trying to break this game before we get into a much later scenario here. Nice dodge and nice movement there to the right and then rotating. Very clean movements, really dodging those lurker shots there. Don't know if he did that entirely on purpose, but it looked like he did. To me, at least. Right. 8 lurkers for DRG now versus the 6 for Serral. This base on the top side is finally going to get taken out. Tying up the base count once again. Remember, it's very difficult for Serral here to rebuild anything. At least it's much harder for him than it is going to be for DRG. Because of the sheer volume of workers, extra workers that he's had. Serral trying to break this area on the bottom side. It looks like he's struggling. His army supply has vanished. And with it, it's looking pretty good here for DRG. Those lurkers still going strong. Everything is exploding. I think that is it. GG. Good luck is gold. Serral is out. DRG claims the victory with a 2-1. Being able to keep himself alive in this lower bracket.